Hello, 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 hello. I just improvised that song right now. It's kind of an intro song for this episode. Did you like it? I hope you liked it. I liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. Anyway, let's get right to it. No more dilly-dallying. Just get right to it. You know what I see a lot these days is people giving the advice that you need to stay hydrated. I see it everywhere. I mean, from just all kinds of people. Just out of nowhere, they'll be like, stay hydrated. It's kind of a weird, like, meme or something like... Well, I remember back in the day, they'd always say, make sure to drink 8 glasses of water a day. Which is quite a lot of water, I think. I don't know, maybe you average that much considering all the water in your food and drinks. But drinking 8 glasses of water a day is kind of a tall order. Can really make you pee a lot, you know. But maybe that's how much you really need. I don't know. But anyway, stay hydrated, right? You know, you could be talking about anything. You know, you could be talking about politics. You know, just out of nowhere. Stay hydrated. I mean, that's true. I'm not arguing that you shouldn't be hydrated, okay? Because that's not the point I'm trying to make at all. Dehydration is definitely bad for you. And you should avoid it at all costs. But I just find it kind of weird that it's so popular to tell people this, right? Isn't that kind of like telling them to stay well fed or get enough sleep, you know, get exercise, whatever, read? Just like common sense type of stuff that everyone needs to do for their health. You don't really say to someone suddenly, make sure to get 8 hours of sleep, right? I mean, sometimes people do actually say that. But I mean, you don't see it as much as stay hydrated, which is really, really being just smashed into our heads lately, that you need to stay hydrated. And I wonder why that is. Is it because people tend to not be hydrated enough? Like maybe they just kind of forget to drink liquids, right? Like I've had that happen before where I'll just go for a really long time and realize like, oh wait, I haven't drank anything for like hours. Maybe I should, you know, hydrate. And I think maybe that's something that can happen pretty often to people. Maybe that's why people are saying stay hydrated. But as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't really seem like a danger. You know, dehydration, I mean, if it's really hot out, make sure to drink enough water. If you're exercising, make sure to drink enough water. But if you're just doing like regular stuff, you probably get enough water just from, you know, your morning coffee, the foods you eat, and just whatever you happen to sip, right? I don't think you're going to really get dehydrated unless you're doing some sort of strenuous activity. And in that case, it's fucking obvious that you should stay hydrated. And if you don't know that by now, maybe you need to, I don't know, maybe the Darwin Award is coming your way. Anyway, if someone has to tell you to stay hydrated, there's something wrong. You didn't pay attention. Or you're just not listening to your body's basic, you know, messages telling you to drink stuff because you get thirsty, right? That's your body's message that you need to hydrate. And if you ignore that to the point where you're dying or you're near death, probably don't have too much going on upstairs anyway, and you're not much used to the human race, and it wouldn't really matter if you were gone, right? I'm not suggesting that anyone, you know, off themselves or anything like that, but just making the point that it's obvious. Drink water, okay? Stay hydrated. Duh. Eat food. Be nourished. Have enough calories to move. Duh. Get enough sleep so that you're not groggy and out of it, so that you can focus on your tasks, you know, and have enough energy. Make sure to recharge by sleeping enough every night. Duh. Exercise. It's good for your health. Gets your heart pumping, and gets your blood flowing. And there's just all kinds of benefits to your body from it, Duh. So I'm just gonna ask people to stop telling everyone to stay hydrated, because people should know that. It's just obvious. I'm not trying to be negative about it or anything either. I mean, I think it's cool, that people are trying to put that message out there. That maybe they're concerned for their fellow citizens. But I really don't think it's something that you need to tell people to do. Because they better damn well know by now that they need to stay hydrated. It's very important. Water, food, oxygen. Oh yeah, breathe. Tell people to breathe, right? Make sure to breathe, okay? Because if you don't breathe, you won't get enough oxygen in your body, and the human body needs oxygen, and you'll die without it, so make sure to breathe. Okay? Obvious. Duh. I'm gonna take a sip of water, actually, because my throat's getting dry. That's my body's signal that I need to drink something. And I'm not gonna ignore it, because that would be stupid. Did anyone else see that clip of former National Security Advisor John Bolton? I think it was on CNN. He's saying he's planned lots of coups in his, during his career. Coups d'etat, where you overthrow a government in another country by, staging some sort of a revolution usually, or it could be a military coup, or, it could be a fake election, maybe, where you get the person you want in charge of the country elected. But this is the kind of thing that America does abroad all the time, through the military, through the CIA, NSA, intelligence services and military. And he just admitted on primetime television to the whole nation that he's been involved in planning coups in other countries. That is absolutely insane. Do you know how fucked up that is? That is illegal, first of all, internationally. You're not allowed to just meddle in other countries like that. And second of all, coups are violent oftentimes. People die. And third, it's also evil because you just shouldn't be meddling in other countries like that. That's not your business. But America does it for its own wealth and power, and they don't give a shit about how the country is going to fare after that. They could have a totally corrupt government who oppresses their own people, but the US doesn't care as long as that government is like a puppet of America. That's how evil the American government is. That's the kind of shit they do all the time, all over the world. They don't do it as much in Europe, because Europeans are white, and Americans have a soft spot for white people. But they did do it recently in Ukraine, actually. 2014, there was a coup that was basically backed by the US. And that's how you get the situation we're in now in the Ukraine. And, in the past, America has meddled in, other countries in Europe, like Spain and Italy, anti-communist stuff, sending spies over there, acquiring assets, locally in those areas to disrupt these movements. So this is just something that America does all the time in its own national interest. Stages coups, meddles in other countries' politics and affairs and economies. And yeah, John Bolton said it on national TV. Everyone kind of knew it was true. There was just so much evidence of it. It was just pretty much an open secret. But he finally confirmed it on national television, someone who actually works for the US government. And this is just, it's absolutely one of the most evil things I can think of. It's up there with sanctions, against countries that don't, play ball the way America wants, like Cuba, Venezuela, North Korea, Iran, whatever, Soviet Union, now Russia. Just any country that America doesn't like the way they do things, where America is not in control and can't make as much money as it wants off of these countries. Yeah, these countries get sanctioned so that America doesn't allow other countries to trade with them. It doesn't allow them to get shipments of goods. It just punishes them to the point where they're actually killing civilians indirectly through these means, you know. They're not getting enough food, medicine, resources. And that's why these countries are poor. It's not because they're communist, it's because America sanctions them to death. And that's pretty evil. But yeah, anyway, the only joke I could come up with out of this whole thing, you know that guy John Bolton, he kind of looks like a walrus, right? And he said he was involved in planning coups. So it kind of reminded me of that Beatles song, you know? I am the walrus. Coo, 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 coo. Get it? You know, coups. He looks like a walrus because of his big mustache. That's a good one, right? I think you like that one. Don't get too aroused by it, though, because that's not the intent. My intent is to inform and educate. And finally, let's talk about urine. I think I've talked about urine on this podcast before, but I don't think I've really talked about it that often or that in depth. And I really wanted to get into it. Really get into it, okay? Urine, they say it's sterile, right? I think Madonna even said that she likes to pee on her feet once on a talk show a long time ago, and people still talk about that all the time, you know. Madonna, you know, she said she likes to pee on herself because pee is like sterile. I think they even use urine to clean things. I remember in elementary school, there was this stuff called like PDQ, I think. And supposedly it was made from cow urine. And you would just use it to clean things, like you would spray it on desks before, you know, wiping them. And supposedly it sanitizes and cleans things. But it stunk really bad. And no matter how sterile urine is, it doesn't really have a good image, right? No one's like, oh god, I love pee. It's totally sterile, you know? It stinks really bad for one. And it looks funky, it's all yellow. But yeah, I mean, but if it's sterile technically, what's so bad about wetting your bed? Why is that bad? Is it because it's gonna stink later? Maybe you could just Febreze your bed if you have a bedwetting problem, right? And then it'll be okay. Or would that just kind of end up being like putting cologne on really bad BO? Or why don't people use their urine to clean surfaces in their homes? Probably cheap and environmentally friendly. I guess the only downside is the smell, once again. Maybe there's a way to neutralize the smell in urine so you could use it as a cleaning product. Does anyone know? Like maybe you could like save a bunch of pee, right, in spray bottles, but then put some like flower petals in there or something. And maybe it would end up smelling really good. And then you could use it to clean stuff, because it's also acidic, right? And yeah, you could probably use it to clean stuff that way. If Madonna can use it to clean her feet in the shower, I think we can use it to clean household surfaces, right? And you know, there's a recession going on. Inflation is out of control because this crazy wars America keeps waging all over the world, and it costs billions of dollars in taxpayer money. We're feeling the crunch, you know, from our government's policies. So we need to think of ways to save, and I can't really think of a better way than using your own pee to clean your house. So that's my advice to a lot of you out there who might be feeling the crunch a little bit. You know, the economy's pretty tight. Bank accounts are just shriveling like testicles on a cold night, you know? Just shriveling up, all wrinkled up, so that the money is just not there. And in times like these, you gotta get creative, you gotta get resourceful, and you gotta put your nose to the grindstone and put some elbow grease in it, you know? Use pee. Maybe not for your bed though, because your mattress is kind of like a big sponge, and it just soaks up that urine and it doesn't dry, and then it gets stinky, and no one wants to sleep on a wet, stinky bed. That's the problem with bedwetting, actually. It's not because urine is dirty and nasty, it's because of the smell and the moisture, which doesn't go away after a day. That's the problem. So technically bedwetting, I mean, peeing yourself is not that bad actually. It's just that mattresses aren't really made for it. You could even get a different kind of bed that's not a mattress, like something that's like doesn't soak up, liquids. And then you could clean it with, pee actually. And it would be okay. Yeah, anyway. There's also asparagus urine. Have you ever experienced that where you eat asparagus and your urine smells really crazy afterwards? I have that actually. I think it's genetic too. Like some people can't smell the asparagus in their pee. Or is it some people don't create asparagus smelling pee? It's either one or both of those things. But anyways, that's a pretty interesting phenomenon. And maybe you could use asparagus pee to clean your place actually. Maybe it would smell a little bit better. Like it'd have sort of a nutty smell maybe. Or some sort of a salady kind of smell. There's another thing for you to consider. Asparagus is really healthy, by the way. And, it's kind of like they say stay hydrated. Well, you should also stay nourished and eat asparagus. And if you stay hydrated, you're going to pee a lot, which ties all into this urine talk that I'm ending this episode on. And anyway, yeah, I just wanted to tie it all together at the end there nicely for you, like putting a bow on it, Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.